What is going on, YouTube? Well, welcome back to another water change Wednesday as the dogs go crazy upstairs. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but yeah, what's going on, guys? Alright, you out of control dogs. Right now there's a complete whole mess behind me. Yeah, looks like we're live. Let me know if everything's good. If you're in the chat, let me know. I'm sweating. I just got done from doing the lawn. I was mowing. I had to mow twice. First, for one, it overgrew, and I haven't been able to mow it because my next door neighbor wanted to cut down the trees that are on the border of our properties. So I was fine with it, but when he cut them down, they all fell in my yard. And so like that was a whole big thing. So I had to chop those up last weekend, and that took me like all day. And then I had to do a little more yesterday, and I wanted to mow yesterday because the grass was literally probably almost 2 feet tall because I went so long without mowing it. And when I went to go mow yesterday, my mower was broken. So I was kind of irritated at that point because it kind of sucked. The mower was only a year old. It wasn't working. It's one of those electric ones. And so I had to go out. I bought a new mower today. I'm going to see if they can fix the other one. But if they can't, whatever, I got another mower. So like I was outside. I had to mow it once just to get it to a normal height, and then I had to cut it again to get it a little bit lower because you're not supposed to do such a big cut in the beginning of like when you first when you're mowing. You're not supposed to take off so much at one time. So what you could do is you could do one cut to take off a lot, and then you could do another cut to just kind of thin it out a little bit, because over this weekend, probably Friday, I'm going to be doing some more maintenance to lawn, such as laying down fertilizer and stuff. So I need to cut it a little bit shorter to get in there. But yeah, enough about lawns. I know not that many people are interested about lawns, but I figured I'd give some insight to what my day's been like and week and all that. And chopping up those trees by myself was a nightmare. So yeah. Anyway, let's see who we have in the chat. What's up, Gabe, Rogers, Mattis, what's going on? Hi from Norway. Lisa, how's it going? Portugal from Bernardo. What's going on, Lumpy Dog? What's going on? Lisa says, how are you and the family doing? Alright. Margaret's a little stressed out. The baby's upstairs crying right now. I'm like, I have to go live stream, so I can't be late. I have to like finish this and go upstairs, even though I'm running a little bit behind schedule. So this live stream is going to be like 45 minutes instead of our normal hour. I am the only one that liked. Well, thank you, Mattis. I'm glad that you liked. I mean, it's still early. We've only been... Oh, there goes the Instagram camera. Sorry, Instagram. Take some questions from you guys, too, here in a bit. Oh, there's the chat. The chat's, like, going crazy. I didn't even see the chat. Sorry, guys. Dang. Alright, I will get some, I'll get some questions here from Instagram here shortly. Buy 3 plant packages and get a free rebuilt lawnmower. Yeah, right? I'm hoping that they can fix it. I mean, honestly, like, I just went out and bought the mower. I think Home Depot has like a 90-day return policy or something like that. So if they can fix the other mower, which I got to bring in this weekend to see if they can, then good. But if not, then I'll have 2 mowers. So I don't know. I had to do that first cut last week. Didn't bother going back for a lower cut yet. Too hot in Alabama already. Oh yeah, I didn't want to cut it lower, but I need to, I'm going to power rake the, so in the front yard I reseeded, so, because it was like a middle-aged balding man. So I reseeded a week and a half ago on Saturday, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before that. The seeds already sprouted. It's almost tall enough for me to mow the front. I'm going to give it until, I'll probably mow that Sunday afternoon, just because I want to give it like a full 2 weeks to really come in, and then I'll chop it down. But the backyard was like ridiculous, so I had to get out there and do that. But I want to also power rake, which if you don't know what power raking is, it's basically where it rips up dead grass that's built up, and that will prevent, like, you can't put new, well, you could put new seed down, but it will be less effective. You can't really do a good layer of fertilizer or weed killer either. If you don't really do this, if you have a lot of it, that is. And my yard, it's only been 1 year that I've moved here, and the yard was seriously neglected. So I'm like little by little trying to bring it back. But I'm almost thinking about possibly doing a fall, in the fall, completely kill off my existing backyard with glyphosate, which will wipe out anything it touches, and then redo it after I put down new soil. Some sand, like even it out, because there's so many bumps. The backyard's terrible. Or I could just pour a bunch of sand and compost and topsoil on top of what I have existing, level out the bumps, but I think I may want to regrade it. So yeah, and then I gotta figure out how to do this new fence. I'm either gonna do it in the spring or maybe like closer to winter this year. I don't know yet, so we'll see. Anyway, enough about yards. Let's talk about something else. I'm stressed out about my yard right now. How would you set up an auto water change system with no drain? Well, you would probably want to have all the water drain into like a central location, and then you would have a like a sump pump or something that will pump it up and into a drain. It's a little bit tricky. It's doable. I was gonna do it down here. I haven't really decided what I want to do yet. Because we're kind of at this weird stage in the business where I could either continue doing what I'm doing and just, you know, really optimize what we have here in the basement, or it's time to expand and get a bigger location. So on the fence, I haven't completely decided what I want to do, because I mean we've maximized this space. Like there's a decent amount of business that comes in off this. Like don't get me wrong, I want to be like, I want to have a 1,000,000 square foot warehouse. If you guys don't know, I on Instagram like a week or two ago, I was in this warehouse that my other company that I work for is doing for IKEA here in Staten Island. It's going to be a central distribution warehouse for the Northeast, like a massive one. It's 1,000,000 square feet, and the thing was just filled with racks. Like if you could imagine like going into IKEA, the racks that they have with all the boxes on it, it's like that but times like 1,000,000. Like it just went on. It was so big that if you stood at one side of the warehouse, you actually see the curvature of the earth looking down. So it was just massive. So I would love to essentially do that, but for fish tanks and plants and stuff, which would be cool. But we're not at IKEA level, so a 1,000,000 square foot warehouse is not in the works. But I'll settle for like a 10,000 square foot warehouse. I'll take like a 10,000 square foot. But we have a long way to go from there. So yeah. That's dethatching, I think. Yep, dethatching. Want to come do my lawn? Nope. I don't even want to do my lawn sometimes. I lie. I like doing the lawn. My thing is I want to do a bunch of landscaping in my backyard. I just can't do it until the fence is ripped. The existing fence is ripped down and a new one is put up, because the existing one is like just trash. It's beyond repair. It's two different fences. I have a chain link and I have a picket fence, so it just doesn't look nice. So I want to have all that ripped down. I want to put in a new fence. That's a lot of money. And we had to put in, for those of you that are maybe new here, we had to put in a central AC system last year when we first moved in, because as soon as we moved in, the furnace went. So we put in a central AC with heating. So that was like a lot of money, and we were initially going to use that money to do the fence, but that got pushed back. And then this year, with Nova coming into the picture, we just said, you know what, let's not spend a lot of money right now, because Margaret was going to be out of work. So, but once the new fence is in, then I could do all the landscaping I want to do. I want to do raised beds. I want to do a play area for the kids. I want to eventually put a pond, a fire pit. Got a bunch of ideas. But yeah. Do you like Mayaca siluana? Do I even have that? I don't have that plant. I've never seen that plant that I know of. Let's look. We'll look it up. We'll Google. The Googles. This is regular Mayaca? Mayaca. I mean, I have Mayaca. It starts with an F. This looks almost identical, or maybe this is Pogo erectus. Yeah, it's similar. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I like the Mayaca that I have, which it starts with the F. I forget how to pronounce it, but that one's really nice. Uh, then will you restock on floating or when will you restock on floating planes? Well, I updated the website just before with a bunch of stuff, and then I have to go through and we're getting even more pond plants. So we're getting like hibiscus, irises. I also ordered a couple lotus plants for ponds, or like just water lotuses that you can plant, not like red tiger lotus, but like something that you could put in like a 1 gallon or 2 gallon bucket with soil and water, and have a lotus that like sends up beautiful blooms. So I ordered a couple of those. We're gonna see how they do. They're gonna be like anywhere between $30 and $40 because they're really expensive for me. So, but if people may want to do it, I wanted the main reason, like I wanted one to do myself, but like I'm gonna film that and maybe it'll get some other people interested in growing them, and yeah, so we'll see. I was looking at your website and I was wondering about how many stems could someone expect from a bunch of leopard bough. Typically there are 2 to 3 plants in a bunch. When it comes to like regular plants, not stem plants. Stem plants usually have more than 3, but sometimes it's around 3. So it really depends on the plant, but you could expect at least 2, maybe more. Ultra low light easy plants for a 55 gallon. Large pea gravel substrate, lots of flow, prefer to dose fruits in water column. Thanks. Lumpy Dog, I would say you'd want to do vowels. You'd want tall plants because it's a tall tank. They also like flow. You could do Anubis, but odds are if you have a lot of flow, it's going to grow blackbeard algae because blackbeard algae likes a lot of flow. Anubis doesn't grow too fast, so it gets easily hit by blackbeard algae in that scenario, and I know because I've experienced it, and it's most certainly the flow. So if you could lessen the flow, do Anubis, Java Fern, stuff like that. What's up, Famous Jones? Jasmine says, be careful with a pond and small children. Well, the pond would be, if I was to do the pond in the backyard, so next year is going to be the fence, right? The fence will go up. I want to put up 2 flower beds, 2 raised flower beds with seating. So I'm going to build, I want to build like up and then have like a seat coming off of it. So like you would be sitting and against your back would be all the plants. So I want to do that. That's going to take me 1 year to probably do both flower beds. So the pond's not going to happen then. Then I also want to do a patio and pavers. So that's going to be another year. And then eventually once everything else is done, then I will do a pond. Because then I'll see how much room I have. Because it really depends on that. And also the play area for the kids, which that's a whole nother thing. But, yeah. Hey, nice to see you. My water pH, GH, and KH is very low for me to keep my Malawi cichlids safe. What do you recommend? I would use some aragonite or crushed coral as a substrate. Crushed coral, base rock, anything like that to help buffer it would be good. How to make a planted tank for cheap? I would get fast-growing plants, so like water sprite, anacris, bacopas, ludwigia, stuff like that. I would grow them, right? I would just like buy like a budget light, grow them, and then sell them to other hobbyists, and that way you get more money to reinvest into your existing tanks. And then maybe like you sell a bunch of your trimmings, you get enough money to upgrade your light, and then you grow even better plants, and then you sell those, and then like you can continuously upgrade your plants and upgrade your equipment, and it really doesn't cost you anything but your initial starting budget of whatever it may be. So people are always looking for plants. Floaters, easy. Plants, go with those. But as far as making in general, just making a tank for cheap, I would just do a small tank. You don't need to do a super big one. You could do a little cube, you know? So yeah. I started a tank about 2 weeks ago with Monte Carlo and Christmas moss. I'm using pressurized CO2 EI dosing. My lighting is a Fluval 3.0 at about 70% and 8-hour photo period. I'm getting tons of green and hair algae. What should I do to help fix this? Well, that's that's kind of just the normal process of a tank. You're going to get those algae in the beginning while the tank bounces it out. If they're getting really bad, you could dose Excel as a last resort, but I would do a lot of manually cleaning, and I would just kind of like, just let it do its thing for a couple weeks, and if it really like starts to take over after manually cleaning, then nuke it with Excel. But I wouldn't be using it as like a, like the problem solver because the problem still may persist. So you really just want to dial in the tank. Have you ever heard of the McMull Air Aqua Air LED light? I haven't. I've heard of McMull. I haven't heard of that particular light, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, McMull I've heard good things about. How much light for Java Moss? Not much. I could grow it with one of those clip-on lights, like literally a light bulb. You want to build or you want JJ to build? All right. Oh, wait, he's moving. Never mind. Yeah, I wish JJ wasn't moving. JJ, for those of you that don't know, built this table. He built the desk that we're on. He built all the racks on the other side of the room. He helped me with this one. He's building stands for these show tanks that I'm doing. So JJ is like my builder, but he's moving to Maine this month. So he's finishing up my stands for my show tanks, and then that's it. And then I lose my builder. So if anybody's in the New Jersey area and knows how to work with wood, let me know, because I have a bunch of projects. Do you fertilize before or after water change? Is it best at morning or night? Well, you would always want to fertilize before you do, like after you do a water change, not before, because if you fertilize right before you do a water change, you're pulling a lot of it out, so it makes no sense. And typically you want to dose when you can, but ideally you'd want to dose right before the lights come on, because the plants aren't using the nutrients while they're sleeping, essentially, when there's no light. As soon as that light comes on, they're looking for stuff. So if you can dose it right as the light is turning on, or within the first couple minutes, that's ideal. But like, let's be real here, nobody is like sitting by their tank like, oh, it's 4:31, the light's about to come on, let me dose. So just do it when you can. I mean, I dose halfway through the light cycle. I dose when they've been on for like 3 or 4 hours. So I have a balcony. I want to put some white cloud minnows in a tub outside. What plants can I put in the tub? Well, you could put a ton of plants in the tub depending on how deep it is, what your setup is. Like, we have a ton of pond plants now that you can put in there. What you could do is essentially just like get like plastic pots, drill a couple holes if they don't have them, fill it with like aqua soil or something, plant the pond plants in there, and like put them in the water, and just make sure they're only submerged about an inch or two under the water. What you could do is, if like say it's I don't know, a foot deep and the plants aren't that tall, what you could do is you could turn another pot upside down, like say a ceramic pot, and place the planter on top of that, and that way it's further up in the water column. So that would work. You could do floating plants, water hyacinth, frog bit, water lettuce, stuff like that, red roof floaters. Those all work. Those are all great. White cloud minnows, they're a cold water fish, so they'll be okay. And most plants can tolerate those kind of conditions, so yeah. It's midnight in Norway? Damn. Tell us a little bit about your experience with multifasciatus, if you can. I'm curious to hear. Well, right now, I don't have multis. I have similis, and they're in this tank here, which they're doing pretty well. They bounced back from the heating thing. We'll do an update on them in the future, but they're just really cool fish. It's one of those tanks that I just I feed. We do, maybe a water change every month. We don't water change often on it. We do auto top offs, and that's really about it. But yeah, it's a fun tank to look at. I enjoy it. Looks like you have to move to Maine. I know, I'm gonna have to move to Maine to be next to my builder because I need him. Love the in-stock plants sort function on the website. Oh, I'm glad you like that. Yeah, we've been doing some stuff. We've been changing, how the website acts and a bunch of different things. There's still more updates. I've honestly been so swamped with things that like I can't even remember. But yeah, I actually, where did I put that? Oh yeah, in-stock plants only. That should show every plant, not just aquarium plants, I think. Right? Does it? I don't know. Now that I'm thinking. Oh yeah, so it does show every plant. It's not isolated by it, but you can then sort what's there by what you want to. Why is escapes in there? Escaping supplies? Mopani wood. That's weird. I gotta move that. That's probably in the wrong spot. Yeah, so I did that just because we have like 300 plus items on the website, so like plants come and go. Like, we've carried some plants, and after experiencing them for a while and seeing like, oh, you know what, we get this plant in, it melts completely back, it barely comes back for us, and we can't really sell it because we can't send people a plant this big, and they'll be pissed. And then it's just like, it's not worth the room because we're so limited. So it's like, let's sell what's really good, let's sell what sells, and let's sell like whatever the best plants we can, and the plants that sell the fastest, because like, I don't want to have to take a plant, keep it here for 2 months while it regrows, and then like it's this big. So some plants we got rid of, like one in particular is the what is it, the regular corkscrew valve. No good. It was too tiny, it would melt back to like this big, and then people would just be angry. So we got rid of that. Now we just do contortion valve. Contortion valve is like this big, and it melts back to maybe about this big, and it's still a sizable plant. It works. It's the same thing essentially, it's just giant. And there's a couple other plants. Regular 4-leaf clover we got rid of. That one, kind of the same thing. It would take forever to transition, and like we'd have to send out plants with like 4 leaves, and it's like, you kind of paid for a plant that should have more, and like I'm just like, you know what, let's not do this. Dwarf 4-leaf clover is a bit better. That one's a good seller. But yeah, so the in stock thing is just to kind of like, these are the plants that we should normally have in stock a lot, and they are the plants that we have in stock. So you're not looking at anything that you can't essentially buy right now, because I know like, if I went to, like, if you just go to the first, like, let's just click on aquarium plants here. I'm like, you look at it, and if you sort by, let's just sort A to Z, because I feel that would probably be the normal thing. Like, people would be like, oh, let's look at some cool plants. So, like, the first line is 5 plants, and 4 of them are sold out. So it's like, that's crazy. You know, the second line, out of 5, 2 are sold out. The third line, 1. Out of the next line is 3. So it's like, it's just crazy how many plants we have and whatnot. So, and I'm also trying to use the website as like a library to just like build up the amount of plant database that we have, so that way like people could be like, oh, well, what's this plant, and then they can find it on our website. Maybe, I don't know, kind of. So yeah. How rare are the plants that you got from Han doing? Or how are the rare plants that you got from Han doing? A couple of the Anubis completely melted back. Like, I lost a lot of them. I did manage to still have the Snow White. At least last time I checked, it was still there. And the Alba, which were the 2 most expensive ones. Those were like $100 each. Those are doing well. And the Igazu, or whatever it's called, Sword, is doing well too. So, I mean, those are the most expensive ones, but I like all the rest of the plants, some of them did not do well. And I don't know if that's just because I ordered them when it was cold out. They could have been cold damaged in the packaging. Keep in mind they're, you know, this big, and if they get cold, ice crystals form that destroys the plant immediately, and that could have very well happened. They could have got just a little too cold, froze during shipping because I ordered midwinter. In hindsight, I should have probably waited till spring, but I was antsy and wanted them, so yeah. I can't seem to grow Java moss without it always getting overrun by filamentous algae. Dose Excel to help kill it. Do manual removal with the toothbrush. Eventually, if you dose Excel for like a week straight or something, or maybe 10 days, it will eventually kill it, and then figure out why it's being caused. So whether it's your light, your CO2, if you have it, whatever the case is. These are all things that, yeah. What's going on? Secret history living in your aquarium? When will you have Monte Carlo back in stock? Well, potted Monte Carlo, I don't think I'm going to have in this week, but I do have tissue cultures that came in. So we have tissue cultures. You could get those if you want. Yeah. So 002 says, what are your thoughts on Dustin's fish tanks? On discussions on Facebook groups, people always say not to buy from him, and he's not reliable, but I don't want to make any assumptions. Honestly, I don't know. I've never ordered from him, so I can't speak on that. some people I feel like definitely have a vendetta against him, as well as people have vendettas against me. It turns out I found out recently there's some groups that don't like me either, apparently. It's a funny story. I was sponsoring a group. Just a little side note. I'm sponsoring a group, right? I give them an exclusive discount. I think it was like 15% off any orders from that particular group. One of the admins don't like me. The initial admin that set up the group asked me to be the sponsor, so I should say that. The initial admin that started the group asked me to be the sponsor of the group. I said, sure. It has like 30,000 members. Like, absolutely no problem. You know, here's 15% off to anybody from your group. That initial admin kind of passes the reins on to 2 or 3 other admins. One of those admins don't seem to like me very much, as I'm told by one of the other 2 admins that are there. And I got a private message saying, hey, just so you know, this person's saying that, you know, he's trying to get you removed because of whatever the scenario is. Like, they said that he reached out to me and I ignored his messages. I never got a message from him. So it's like, you know, people may just make assumptions or not like somebody for whatever reason. So, you know, that's just the way it is. Not everybody's going to like everybody. If you want to support Dustin, check him out. Order his plants. Give it a try. Maybe not spend a ton of money if you're not sure. Do a test order. I mean, I've heard mixed things. Some people say he's great. Some people say not so much. So, and I'm sure that goes with everybody. I've seen about every plant seller out there. So, and I'm sure there's even including myself in there. Although I haven't personally seen that many negative reviews about myself, for whatever reason. But usually it's all positive. I don't think I've ever... Well, I've had like 2 to 3 disgruntled customers over really minor things for the most part. But yeah, so I don't know. Try them out for yourself. How's your little desk bog doing? It's actually doing great. We upgraded the light because I just didn't feel the other one was good enough. Plus, I didn't like the growth that I was getting off of it. And that just might be because the sundews really need a lot of light. Like, those are sun-loving plants. Like, they're not going to do well under a dinky light like I initially had. So I upgraded to a LED grow bulb into a regular like lamp on a desk, like a desk lamp. Plants are doing way better now. I'm actually watering them every day. No significant growth though yet. Like the sundews have put up some new things, but nothing really to do a massive update on. But we will do an update once I have something to share. So. Just wanted to thank you for the plants from a few months ago. They are phenomenal, and over 3 dozen folks on my channel bought some off of you. Hope that helped business a bit. Well, thank you, Secret History Living. I appreciate it. What's up, Unlucky Eddie? The water box is in the house. One of my viewers was asking me if I got kicked out of your chat. Nope, you didn't. Not that I know of. I think you're an admin. I don't think you could be, or a moderator. I don't think you could be kicked out. Hey, yo. Famous Jones says, can you mix moss plants on the same branch? You can. Personally, I wouldn't mix more than one moss in, like I wouldn't add more than one type of moss to your tank unless it's 2 clearly distinguishable mosses. So like flame moss, you know it's flame moss because it sticks straight up. It's not going to get mistaken for anything else other than possibly spiky moss. Or, I think string moss also sticks straight up. But, like, if you put flame moss in with, say, Christmas moss, you'll be able to tell the difference no matter what, because flame moss sticks straight up. Christmas moss kind of creeps up like this, like, over. It's almost like a weeping moss, kind of. So, like, you'll be able to tell the difference. But I wouldn't say mix regular weeping moss with, say, Christmas moss, because then they're almost identical. Like, you would only be able to tell the difference because of the frond structure, and for that you need to put it under a microscope and do a bunch of sciencey things. So don't mix more than one similar moss. So like Physidens is a completely different type of moss, which could work. There's liverworts such as like what's it called, Pelia and Subwaskertang. Those are, you know, different types of mosses too. You can mix those with, say, Java moss, and like, you know, you'd be able to tell the difference. But I wouldn't do 2 very similar mosses. Lumpy Dog says, I ordered from Dustin once, had a good experience. There you go. Waterbox says, there's always seems to be vendettas against all the, pretty much all the YouTube sellers, and that he's ordered from Dustin, and he's been reliable. So, there you go. I buy most of my plants from H2O Plants, but I've bought plants from Dustin and Aquarium Co-op without issue. Well, there you go, you see. Way too much drama in the fish world. Why can't we all get along? Yeah. I mean, everybody has haters. It's just what it is. Like, even, you know, Joey has a lot of haters. You know, just everybody. Everybody that has a YouTube channel, once you put yourself on the internet, it's just bound to happen. You're going to have haters. That just says that you're doing something right. Like, most of the time people are... Oh, okay. I hit a button on my keyboard. I wasn't sure. Haters are going to hate because either they're jealous of what you're doing, they don't like you as a person, they just... You're not their cup of tea. You know, for any reason, they're gonna, you know, they're gonna hate. That's part of doing business. You put yourself out there, but keep doing you. You know. Yeah, I get blast from supporting you and Jacob and Dustin. I just tell them to go pound sand. They just talk just to talk. Like more fish police in our hobby. And sometimes it's because they don't. Yeah. Now, I will say there are complaints about some YouTubers. I won't name names, but there are some complaints from some of the more advanced hobbyists that the YouTubers are not giving correct information. So there are some concerns with that, but, you know, I think that comes from, like, everybody. Like, if you've been in it 20 years and, like, you have all this experience with plants and planted tanks, you may know things that other people just don't, and you're not sharing it. But when somebody like myself or somebody else in the YouTube community puts themselves out there and says, okay, well, this is what I'm doing, and then maybe, you know, 6 months from then they improve their skills. Like, I've thought things in the very beginning, and then my whole, like, knowledge set or my way of thinking on that particular thing may have changed since then. And that's just because, like, you find more things out, you experiment, you test things, and it's like, okay, no, maybe that isn't the good way of doing it. So, I mean, my CO2 system, you know, you guys haven't really seen it because I've been torn to show it on camera or not, but, like, that cost me, like, $800 to try and troubleshoot and figure out, like, how to run one CO2 tank and run all these tanks off of it. So, as a matter of fact, I'm even expanding the CO2 tank to hold the show tanks that I'm doing with another 5 runs of CO2 from that same regulator and same tank. So it's going to be interesting to see if it works. I think it should. If not, then I have to buy a separate regulator and canister. But yeah, so. What's your favorite aquarium plant? Which one do I really like right now? I like Bucephalandra. That's one of my favorites. Any sort of boost. Also, I like my Polysperma Sunset, but that's illegal to ship across state lines, so you can't get it. I'm sorry. But yeah. Would you ever sell Stargrass? I do sell Stargrass, but it's really tricky to ship because the leaves, like, really melt back during shipping. Like, it's a sensitive plant, and, like, I hate sending it to people because, like, sometimes most of the leaves will be melted off, but the stem's still there, and the stem's still good. Like, you could throw that stem in a tank and it'll sprout new stems and new leaves, but it's not a good thing when you send that to somebody and they get angry about it. Any plans on ordering Boost Dark Skeleton in the future? Possibly, Bryson. Show it. The CO2 system. I don't know if I'm going to show the CO2 system. The CO2 system is a proprietary build. What's that fastest growing plant that stays small? A fast growing plant that stays small, dwarf four-leaf clover, mini Miro, stuff like that. But I mean, mini Miro may need CO2. It depends on your light, really, with that plant. Fish hobby in the USA is way too small to have grudges. Everyone should be working together to grow the hobby. I agree. Is a Java fern carpet possible? If so, what are your thoughts? I wouldn't do a Java fern carpet just because Java fern gets tall. I would do an Anubis carpet, like Anubis Nano Petite. You could do, unless you have a really big tank. Like if you have like, I don't know, a 500-gallon tank, you could do a carpet of Java fern then, because then it's like the scale. But if you have like a normal 75-gallon or smaller, I wouldn't do Java fern carpet. No. I have Christmas moss and recently bought Ficodens from you. Oh, well, so yeah, that'll work, Famous Jones, by mixing them. Make sure you hit that like button and show Justin some love. Thank you. My haters hate me because I'm so beautiful. Yep, there you go. I'm used to the social justice workers attacking me for eating meat. Oh, shame on you. Shame on you eating meat. No, I'm just kidding. Even though I'm a vegetarian, I don't preach like that. Like, people eat what they want to eat. I've been buying from Justin from over a year. 100% satisfactory customer service for life. Thank you, Madfish Diva. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's hard. I know I messed some stuff up, but I also don't give all the info out. It's too soon for some people who would be watching that video yet. I hit the hard stuff later. Y'all seem like a nice guy. Can't see why they hate you. It's got to be they are jealous of your beard. That's possible. And experiences work so differently for everyone. The things that always work for me doesn't work for others. I can't for the life of me grow Kambamba, but everyone else grows it like a weed. Yeah, I mean, things work for different people. So like that's the thing. Maybe you know, people that think somebody's preaching the wrong type of thing, maybe that person that's preaching that really is having success doing that one thing, but that other person never had success doing it. So, you know, it's hard to say. Everybody's tank is different, so I don't... There are some things that are brought up, and like just, I don't know. I've talked to Joey about it, and there's some things that some people say that's like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think that's too accurate, but yeah. My Madagascar lace losing leaves, what's the best conditions for it? So if your Madagascar is losing leaves, one, if it's new to the tank, that's kind of normal. Two, if it's been in there a while and all of a sudden it's melting back, what you want to actually do is take the bulb out of the tank, get some sand, wet it, right? Or like just take like a scoop of aquarium water, put some sand in it, and not enough to like keep it where there's standing water, but enough to wet the sand, and stick the bulb in that for about 3 months so it stays moist. Like cover it. I would say like you want to make sure there's airflow. You don't want it to like be sealed, but you don't want it to lose moisture. So you know, maybe put it out somewhere like in a cooler spot, and it could be going through its dormancy phase. So does the regular not dwarf four-leaf clover carpet? It can. It's a bigger leaf, so you need a bigger tank for it to carpet. So I wouldn't use it as a carpet for anything other than like a 75-gallon or bigger, just because the leaf structure is like this tall, and like that's like 6 inches or so. So I need some more light or low light, no CO2 plants, of course. Well, we got plenty. Our new shipment came in. We're getting a couple new pond plants too, so it'll be cool. All right, guys, we got about 8 minutes left, 7 minutes left. So if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I'll take some off some Instagram posts too here. So here's a long one. So my girlfriend decided to move my tank while I was at work. She had my Java fern that's tied to a log out of the water for a few hours. Some of it's drying out. Is there any saving it? That's tricky. If it completely dried, odds are it's going to die out. But if you save the rhizome, if the rhizome was still a little wet, it will grow new leaves. So I'd put it back in the tank, see what happens. I'm one of those, like, I don't give up on plants. I'm like, we'll have Sundew, do your job. There's mosquitoes around here. I'll find a plant that'll be like left out and like halfway dead, and I'll just damn mosquito, and I'll just be like, up, back in the tank. I'll just toss it in the tank and see what happens. Legit Animes sends a $2.99 super chat. Thank you, Legit. Appreciate. Keep doing what you're doing. Also, have you tried? And then, oh, tried growing avocados in a tank. I see. No, I haven't. But I think it might be possible. I mean, you probably not long term, but you could get it to sprout. Would be really interesting. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. Rose says a carpet of Nana Petite sounds like a great idea. It is, and so much so it is actually something that we are doing. Yeah, you'll hopefully see it in the future, but we are coming up with a really crazy tank that is it's probably about 2 months away. I'll probably start working on it in June. Just we're getting really close to Reefapalooza. Like I've been ordering massive amount of stuff. Like I had to order business cards, banners, tablecloths, display things, and racks and stuff to put everything on. So if you're going to Reefapalooza, make sure you show up, because like I spent a ridiculous amount of money to make this happen. So come check out the booth if you want to buy stuff. Definitely buy stuff, because you know, I was looking at it, and the initial booth cost wasn't like crazy amounts of money. I mean, it's still a lot, but it's like, okay, well, yeah, that'll work. But then it's like all these other things came up. It's like, oh wait, you need bags for customers, you need display things, you need tablecloths, you need shirts for your employees, so like people know that they work there. You need a cash draw, you need a credit card machine, you need all these things. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I initially thought it was going to cost this much, and now all of a sudden it turned into double that. And I'm like, oh my god, all right, let's make this happen. So, yeah. So if you're going to Reefapalooza, stop by. If you're going to Aquatic Experience, stop by. We'll be at both, and depending on how they go, we'll determine if we do them next year. So, and that's of course if they're local to us. If they're anywhere outside of the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Connecticut area, I don't see myself setting up a booth. But if they stay in that area, we'll definitely be vending. So it's just going to be just anything outside the tri-state area is going to be tough for me to manage. You know, because one, taking the employees, they barely want to do the convention as is. They're like, really, we gotta go stand for 7 hours and talk to people? I'm like, well, yeah, because we gotta sell things. That's the whole point in going, is to sell things, interact with people, you know. So it'll be really fun. I hope a lot of people stop by. I'm trying to do something. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time to. Like I was thinking about like making, like, I don't know, shirts to give out or something, or tote bags or something. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to. But we're going to have tons of plants there. We're going to have tons of hardscape, fertilizers, tools, stuff like that. I think it's going to be really cool. Our booth, I mean, in my mind, what I have in my mind is going to be awesome, but if it all depends on how we execute it, so who knows. And with that said, so Reefapalooza is, I think, about 6 weeks away, 6 or 7 weeks away. Our show tanks, the tanks themselves, come in next week, and then I have how many weeks that is to get them set up and going. So like I have to hit them right as soon as they get here. Like that same week I have to set all of them up. Like 5 tanks have to be set up, aquascape done, kind of thing. So some of them are going to be dry star method, and we'll fill them like the day of the event, and some of them are going to be like, okay, crank the CO2, blast the light, 10 hours a day, let's get this thing growing. So yeah. Alright, in 7 minutes, explain the constant gravity of the universe. We're from expansion to cold transperson. Well, no. But the interesting thing about the universe, at least from documentaries that I've watched, is that the universe is constantly expanding, and we're moving farther and farther away from things. And even if we somehow came up with a practical way to travel through space at an efficient rate that, you know, humans wouldn't die off, you know, within the space travel, we still wouldn't be able to get outside of our galaxy. So it's kind of like sad to think about it, because that means we're alone forever. So, like there would have to be a form of transportation that we have yet to think of to move us from our galaxy into a different galaxy, where life could possibly exist. So it's interesting. It's interesting to think about. It's like, sometimes I often think about it, it's like, well, what if I didn't die? What if I was alive for the next billion years? Like, what's gonna happen, you know? It's crazy to think about sometimes. Madfish Diva is going to be at AE buying those tickets next if I ever come back from Peru, JH says. Well, too bad. I'm stuck in Utah. I'd work for you. Well, thank you, Unlucky Eddie. I appreciate it. My beard is super itchy from being outside. Y'all about to end the live stream? Yeah, in about, well, it's 9 o'clock now, so we're going to wrap this up. It will be the first trip of many trips to South America. Oh, you're going to Peru? That's awesome. I want to go. I'm actually really regretting not going to Interzoo this year. Kevin's in Germany right now. A bunch of people are in Germany, and I was like, it's a little too costly, and I should have booked it, because, like, when I was thinking about doing it, it was a couple months ago, and I didn't know how we were going to do it, because last year, like, we spent way more money than we made. And that's just because, like, building out things. But now, like, things are built out, and now we're actually, like, making a little money. So it's like, well, maybe I could have swung that trip and, like, got some cool videos out of it and saw some things and made some connections. So I'm really, it's a regret, but I can't change that now. So it kind of sucks. But next year, well, I think it's every 2 years, Christian was saying. There's a friend of Kevin's, so... Heat death will be the major issue in a few billion years. Yeah, well, that, and when we exhaust all of our natural resources, if we manage to colonize other planets and figure out a way of life elsewhere, it's crazy to think about. Like, it's weird, but it's like some of the things I think about is like, well, I'm not going to be alive for any of it unless they somehow discover, like, a way to freeze me and wake me up in a billion years, or, you know, I put my mind into the internet and get downloaded into a robot or something. Will that happen in my lifetime? Doubt it, but, you know, it's something. Melissa says, show us some tanks. Not right now. We're about to wrap up the live stream. But if you want, tomorrow on Instagram, we will be live streaming the unboxing of our plants coming in. So, yeah. The Waterbox says, well, I wouldn't have asked if I knew it was going to make me so depressed, or if it was going to be so depressing. I'm sorry. This is what the Flash is for, breaking every limit known to man. Yeah, this is true. How's Nova? She's good. She's being a little cranky today. She's been a little sick with, like, a little cough and sneezing the last, like, week or so. We took her to the doctors. They said that's fine. Probably from daycare, because now she's in daycare, so. From what I see from all the vendors on my War Gaming connections, they do show for the marketing. So they always seem to spend more than they make at shows. Yeah, see, that's the thing, and we'll kind of leave on this here. But a lot of people, they go into these trade shows just for the marketing purposes. I'm from, like, a sales background. Like, I was in sales for, what, 5 or 6 years? So, like, to me, it's a great place to, like, meet people and, like, talk to people and stuff. Like, I had a great time last time at Reefapalooza and Aquatic Experience. I was just walking around. But for people that don't know who we are, it's a great way to, one, get our name out there. So, like, new people will hear of us. Not to mention, like, I think our booth is going to look incredible. So I think it'll bring people in. And then... on top of that, it gives us the opportunity to make money while we're there, because we're so close that it just doesn't make any sense why we shouldn't make any money while we're there. A lot of people say, oh, well, you know, if you get lucky, you'll cover your expenses. And I'm like, well, I don't know about that because I live 20 minutes from the convention center. So for me, I don't have to fly anything to a place, then set it up. It's like, nope, everything is going to be loaded in my truck, brought there the day before, set up, and we're going to be good to go. Like, other than getting inventory in from my suppliers that week, I don't have to do anything else. Like, it's all here. So, a lot of people, I guess, will spend a lot of money, you know, having their booths, you know, set up, shipped over there. So you lose a lot of money there. Marketing, all that stuff. And it's like, nope, we're going to set up. We're going to make some money. It's going to be good. So that's what I'm hoping for. Because if we make some money, then that's like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to do these every year because we actually made money. We didn't lose anything. And, you know, everybody had a good time. So, you know, it's not all about the money, but it is a business at the end of the day. It's like, well, this will be like a pop-up shop almost for us kind of thing because it would be really cool. It also gives me an idea. I mean, a convention is a lot different than a retail store, but it will give me an idea of kind of how to do possibly a retail store in the future, because it's one thing to sell through the internet, but selling stuff inside of a store is different. And I've never sold plants in like a store or fish stuff in a store. I've sold cell phones, I've sold wireless internet services and stuff like that from the tech world, but selling plants and stuff, that's a little foreign to me in person. So all right, how long have you been in the hobby? How did you start? I think it's been like 4 years now, and I started when I got a comic goldfish from a carnival from Margaret's son. Alright, we're 5 minutes over. Read the books. We Are Bob, the Bob verse. Dennis E. Taylor wrote them. I'm not good at reading books, but if they have an audio version, I might. How's the carnivorous plants doing? Great. When will you have regular four-leaf clover in stock? We're not ordering that plant anymore, but if you want it, I can special order it for you. Just let me know. It's just we're not going to be stocking that plant as of right now. Alright, guys. Reefapalooza, and what's the other one? Aquatic Experience. So Reefapalooza is in June at Meadowlands, and Aquatic Experience is in Meadowlands in October. So we'll be at both. Both events will be up on our Facebook page, so you can find them there. And yeah, selling plants will be easy, hopefully. Well, we should talk. I used to do marketing for people at shows through my gaming YouTube channel. It might be the work with the aquariums too. Maybe. We're gonna see. I mean, I'm gonna just see how it goes, and I think it'll be good. The Reefapalooza is gonna be a little tricky because it's a reefing event. So one of the two things is gonna happen. Either you're gonna have a lot of reefers there that have no freshwater tanks, or because I'm gonna be one of the only freshwater vendors there that has plants, I'm gonna be like capitalizing on that wait, there's somebody in here selling freshwater stuff in a reefing event, and everybody comes to us. So that's kind of the goal, to like make a splash like that. But guys, I gotta go film tomorrow's video real quick. Sorry there wasn't a video yesterday, but I fell asleep literally editing the video, and my computer was not working with me. So, and my old mic knocked out. Luckily, I got a new mic, so that's the thing. And yeah. Alright guys, I'm going to go. If you want to watch tomorrow's live stream on Instagram of us unboxing a ton of plants, it'll be there. And we will see you guys on next Wednesday. I'm debating on doing this every other week instead of every week, so let me know in the comments below. We'll do next Wednesday for sure, but maybe after that we may do every other Wednesday. Just because life happens. So, what is that? Baby drool on my shirt, I think. Anyway. Alright. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. Where's my thing here? Okay, here we go.